Yeah, g'day, my name's Daniel Fellows and welcome to my channel, Everything Stephen King. And today I would like to discuss the sad news that was released a couple of weeks ago now, but some of you may not know that the Dark Tower TV series has been cancelled. The Dark Tower TV series has been in development for well over a year, probably 2 years or more, and Amazon picked it up. It went through over the years. Went through so many iterations and different things that different producers wanted to do with it, but they finally just settled on just a straight limited TV series. And and just recently, so what 2 weeks ago or whatever, when it was with Amazon, they decided to cancel it. So I'm a little bit upset by that, a little bit miffed. I've been following this story for such a long time. I thought finally 2020, this is the year that we're going to get the Dark Tower TV series. So I was very very excited, but yeah, not to be now. For those of you that don't know, the Dark Tower TV series is going to be based on Wizard and Glass, the fourth book in the Dark Tower series, if my memory serves me. And this one's almost like a story within a story. So the Dark Tower Wizard and Glass starts off as Roland and his quartet are traveling through a particular town. I think they've just gotten off what's the name, the Blaine the Mono, and Roland has this story that he needs to get off his chest. And that's when so the whole story, the whole novel is just a big massive flashback of when he was about 14 years old, where he finds out his mum's had an affair, and him and his quartet have to go into hiding pretty much. But yeah, so this article from comingsoon.net. The Dark Tower TV series was going to be produced or written by this guy called Glenn Mazzara, who's of the Walking Dead fame. He's the one that wrote that series, and a pretty big hitter in the Hollywood circle. So yes, like I said, they've been working on it for quite some time, but this is going to be a completely separate thing, almost like a reboot, or it will have no affiliation whatsoever with the movie itself. So I think that the plan was for them to reboot the entire thing, because the movie, as everyone knows, was a bit of a bust. Wasn't the best movie in the world, obviously, or best adaptation of one of King's works, but it kind of, I mean, I didn't mind it. It was alright, but the way I saw it was that that movie was such a missed opportunity, and they could have done so much with it. But obviously, they just went with a one hour and a half movie to tell a story, or part of a story that spans basically 8 books. And yeah, I think they kind of rushed through it, and they made some pretty bad decisions in regards to that movie. They initially, from what I understand, the movie, they were planning to do something like 2 or 3 movies with a TV series in the middle, and so movie, TV series, and try and do it the whole thing properly. But I think the executives and the producers and the big honchos in the studios, I think they were a bit scared off by that, and so they kind of kept on scaling it down to it was just as a one and a half hour movie. And but obviously that didn't work. But with this TV series, it was going to star a guy called Sam Strike. Now, Sam Strike was going to play, I think he's about 26 or so, Sam Strike, and he was going to play a 14-year-old Roland Deschain when he was quite young. and he becomes the youngest gunslinger in history. So obviously still here on his IMDb database. I mean, look, it still might get made. Amazon has passed on it, and Glenn Mazzara is still shopping it around, so it may still get picked up. But as of yet, so this is 2020, but that's unlikely. If it does get picked up by someone, it is unlikely. I'll get rid of you. So also starring a Joanna Ribera. Susan Delgado was going to be played by Joanna, but yeah, look, I've never heard of either of these actors, but just looking at some of her, obviously her name Ribera reminded me straight away of a Portuguese name, but some of these are foreign titles, so whether she's brand new to Hollywood, I'm not too sure, but she's obviously making quite a name for her over in Europe. But I saw this one here, Sombra. For some reason, I instantly thought of another Stephen King kind of adaptation, but I've never heard of this one. But it's probably nothing to do with the Sombra corporation that's mentioned in the Dark Tower books. But you never know. I've never. But anyway, so you got Dark Tower there, and this was in post production. But yeah, so it's actually quite sad. So yeah, look, like I said, who was it? So the showrunner is The Walking Dead's Glenn Mazzara, is working with production company MRC, who does House of Cards, Ozark, and Ted. The company is now reportedly meeting with other unspecified networks to try to get the show off the ground. Now, apparently, what happened is that they did the first pilot. They filmed that, they showed it to the executives, and they were basically unimpressed. They weren't happy with it, and they said, "No, we're going to pass on this." And so with fantasy shows that are coming out, such as you got the Lord of the Rings here coming out, and Wheel of Time, and these shows are trying to kind of replace, the Game of Thrones, which has only just finished last year. So obviously the first episode that they filmed of the Dark Tower didn't meet their expectations. Maybe it was too slow, or they didn't like the scope of it. Maybe they didn't even like the romance element of it. That's going to be that was in the book. Remember that was a huge part of the book. But anyway, so in the movie, these roles, so you got Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. They're going to be obviously played by completely different actors. Sony made a Dark Tower movie in 2017 starring Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, but the TV show is separate. The show is said to be focused on the origin story of gunslinger Roland and his battles with the Man in Black. While Amazon Studios won't move forward with the Dark Tower, the company is producing the aforementioned Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings shows, which by themselves, look, I'm really, really excited about those. I've read book 1 in the Wheel of Time, and what was it, 700 pages, like a massive tome. And I'm pretty sure I've got all of them bar one. I've got to find out which one I'm missing, but I've read one of the books, and the Lord of the Rings, and that's going to be epic as well. So I'm not too sure when these come out, but from what I understand, this the Dark Tower series was supposed to kind of fill in that gap left by the Game of Thrones, but unfortunately not to be. But yeah, never mind. It still might get made, but in the meantime, I want to watch this space. I want to continue doing some research, and there are plenty more Stephen King adaptations in the works in the coming 12 months and beyond. But yeah, so watch this space, and it will be exciting once it finally happens, the Dark Tower TV series. But yeah. But anyway, if you like this video, or you would like to see some more, please click subscribe and like this video, and yeah, I'll be back. Thank you.